half an hour. I have,
Uh-huh.
I have a brunch with some friends, so
Nice.
going there and then coming back to see the French game. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a day of
Um,
unbridled excitement.
yes, I'm very excited. I don't know what Morocco is doing now. They're playing Portugal,
Hmm.
and we have a friend, Sarah Adnani, who is from Morocco. So
Yeah, yeah, she was quite
yeah,
excited about that with the
yeah. And I lived in Morocco. Did you know that I lived a year in Morocco?
I think you might have told me that, but yeah,
Yeah, it has a special place in my heart. Special, weird, in a weird way.
in a weird way.
Morocco is a country where I lost my dad. Actually, it's the country I was
Mm.
living, and the country where my dad came to visit, and he passed away
Yeah.
in my home 3 days after he got there. So yeah, it's special in many ways. Morocco is special in many ways for me.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting how, it's a whole country and your first association would be with that event.
Yeah, a lot of transitions because I was working at that time for Western Union, and I was managing the 15 West African countries, the marketing of it, and we were doing it from Paris, and then the company wanted to manage Africa from Africa, so
Mhm.
there was a bid. So it was either Johannesburg in South Africa or Casablanca in Morocco, and they ended up doing it in Morocco because tax issues were more interesting there. And so with excitement then in 2004, I moved from Paris to go to live in a new
Yeah,
country,
yeah.
new adventures, and yeah. But it was, and I had lost my mom a year or two before, so
Mm.
I didn't have anything, to stay there in Paris. So at that time, my husband resigned to follow me. So it was fun because I resigned later to follow him here in the States. But at that
Uh-huh.
time, he followed me in Morocco, and so it was a fun time. It was I wasn't the only one to move. I moved with a whole team, and it was very nice because Western Union was, one of the biggest companies there, and so we were like kings and queens.
Oh, nice. He's living
So
living.
a lot of epicureanism, if I can say.
A lot of
We
what?
party
What did you say? A lot.
Epicureanism. Do you know the
Oh,
word
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay,
epicurean?
okay. Yeah, I just didn't catch what the word
Yeah.
was.
So it was we could afford anything, so
Yeah.
we partied, nice restaurants and beautiful apartments, and so it was very fun. And it's funny how it ended, for me. And I actually resigned after my dad passed away. I didn't have the ambition anymore to stay there.
Mhm.
I used to travel a lot, and traveling started giving me anxiety every
Yeah.
time I had to pack to go. Yeah, just something died with me, with my dad passing. So I
Mhm.
resigned and then left Morocco in May 2006,
Mhm.
and I've never been there ever since.
Uh-huh. Would you
Yeah,
ever go back for?
I think I have to. I
Uh-huh.
think I will, because it's first a beautiful country. I
Yeah.
still have a lot of friends living there, and also because I have to go back, and um, not get it over with, but finish anything that wasn't finished. I left
Uh-huh.
it on a sad note. I would love to go back and, just enjoy being there and leave it on a happy note.
So
Like,
you would just theoretically, you would visit and you would have a plan for how that visit would influence your thoughts to leave the country on a happy note, as it were. Or
yeah, it's just
yeah.
left it, I really couldn't wait to leave. And I remember it was hard because since I was living and working there, they didn't make it easy on me when I was living. Just the tax issues and all of it. It wasn't easy at all. I thought I would remain prisoner there,
Uh,
and so it was very challenging time emotionally because I couldn't really live, probably run away from the pain of living and being in that house where my dad passed away. And at
uh,
the same time, the logistic of it was very hard. And even company wise, because I had a managerial position, I had to, wait. Like basically from the time I resigned, when I left, it was 6 months. Because in
uh,
my position, I had to already to give 3 months notice. And
uh.
also, I mean, anyway,
Would you
so
return to that? Would you return to the house? That's my question.
the apartment, I mean,
Or it was just
probably
an
somebody else.
apartment and
Yeah, there it was
yeah.
apartment. Yeah, I didn't have a
Okay.
house. Yeah, some coworkers. Yeah, and so I will go around and see what it has become. And I feel very good today. I don't feel like I'm going to be sad if I go there. I think
Yeah.
I'm because I made peace with it. But the way I left the country was difficult, and I would love to go back and just complete. We talked about the notion of completion,
Uh,
how it's important to finish, to complete
yeah.
everything,
Right.
so that when I think about it, I am not sad or I have the feeling that there is something remaining.
Uh, mhm.
Yeah. So
This
I
is
would
an
like to go back
interesting.
complete.
Yeah, an interesting thing that I was thinking of was, so it was between, and this wasn't your decision, but it was the company's decision. It was between Morocco and South Africa.
Mhm. It
Okay.
was a company decision. They had to, companies, countries invite companies to come and work and be there because they pay a lot of taxes.
Uh,
And so for the company to come, the government or the country needs to kind of give them some arrangement in terms of taxes. And so
yeah.
there was they were comparing two countries. Like it took a year or more for them to decide where
Yeah,
to
but,
go.
but what the perspective I'm coming from here and I'm thinking about is their decision influenced the course of your life, right? Right. So
Did it influence the course of my life?
yeah, so what might have been different had you been located to South Africa instead?
I think nothing would have changed. I think my dad would have come and visit me and he would have died because I believe that the day of our death is set. I
Oh,
believe
really?
that.
You believe that? That's
Oh yeah,
interesting.
I'm a
Yeah.
Christian. I think God knows the numbers of my days. And
Mm,
so I firmly believe that the circumstances might differ because there is free will and I choose to do the things that I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
But I think that eventually, like at the end, I will die the day that was set for me to die before um where I was born.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really
How about you?
interesting.
What are your thoughts on what do you think about when are you gonna die and things like that?
Oh,
What's your thoughts about it?
yeah,
You're
obviously,
Buddhist. Are you Buddhist or not really?
I don't know. I guess I haven't really thought about it. I sort of like a lot of the teachings that I've been exposed to of Buddhism, but I don't know,
You don't know. Okay. So,
not
but what's your
necessarily.
what's your what's
Um,
your
yeah,
perspective on when are you gonna die?
I have an app on my phone it's called Time Remaining or something. Countdown. It's called
Time
Countdown.
remaining?
It's called Countdown. That's what it's called. It's called Countdown.
Countdown. Yeah.
Okay. And so I look at statistically, I think my dad might be an anomaly in his family because I think most of his brothers and sisters lived a lot longer. Some of them are still alive, and he was the youngest in the family. Um,
Hmm.
so I think there's the potential there to, I would say 80s, but I hadn't picked a date. I hadn't picked a date.
So you think you're gonna live until you're 80?
My 100th birthday would be the 6th of August, 2065. You know, I think 20, I don't know, 2045, you know, maybe. So what would that be? I'd be,
So you think you're gonna live until 2045?
at 80.
Just 20 more years?
You never know. I mean, I'm not thinking that anybody picked the date. I think if I take care of myself, I have better potential to push a little longer than my dad did, for example.
How old was your dad?
My dad was 75 and my mom was 71. So by today's standards, youngish, I guess, you know.
He was young. Hmm.
But you know, then again, I know several high school classmates of mine who kicked the bucket when they were in their late 30s. So, you know,
Yeah.
could happen
I
any
listen
time.
to you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't.
So you don't know.
I want to live, you know, at least into my 80s, maybe my 90s. However long I live, I want to be productive and vital.
Yeah, you want to
Yeah.
live the best because I've read that people live longer, but they live less. You know, they live longer, but the quality of their life is not that great because they have medicine. You know, the medicine keep them alive, keep them live longer.
Right.
But difficult, like you know, with oxygen or things
Yes,
like that.
I don't want anything like that. You know, any kind of life
Yeah, you want to
support.
be vital, running
Yeah.
up with
Yeah.
your grandkids, right?
Maybe I don't know.
Does she want to have? Does Corvo want to have kids in her life?
Corvo's like no.
She
And
doesn't
we'll
want to have kids.
yeah, we'll see, you know.
You'll see, yeah, because
The kid's
it changes.
19, but yeah. But yeah, as far as we know right now, no, that's not
Okay,
in the
right now
cards.
it's not. Okay.
But
What do you think about it? Would you want to have grandkids?
yeah, I can imagine grandkids would be, I mean, just it would be fun to, I wouldn't want to be responsible for their upbringing or anything, but it would be fun to visit
Just the
with
fun.
grandkids. You know, it's fun.
Because you like kids. You like them
Yeah.
being and
Yeah,
interacting with
I
kids.
like interacting with kids, younger kids especially. I don't. This is interesting, and this is why I have thoughts about the Denver School of the Arts thing, and this has been an interesting thing for the past couple of months. But I like the kids. I don't like the institutional setting or how they behave when they're in a large group.
You like them in nature, running wild.
I like them running free in nature, right?
Yeah. I hear
Because
you.
and I think the reason is because when they're in a group, their inherent nature is to run free, and they're always running free, and it becomes a challenge if we want to be a collective force,
Yeah.
you know, in like a classroom or something. But so that's, I guess that's where it would come from with it.
How
It's
is
like,
how is it in your music class? They love it. It's a place where they can be free, right?
we are, I would say, I'm sort of hands off, and however they're going to behave, they're going to behave. The new full-time teacher there is establishing her own rules, but it involves a lot of, it's fairly lax in terms of, you know, we have to keep track of certain things that they're doing, and it's always a challenge when there's 25 teenage guitar players in a room together holding guitars, and we just want for a moment to say something.
Yeah.
Because there's just, you know, especially with kids who are this talented, they're always playing, and that's kind of the way it should be.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But it's like maybe they're there to learn. Well, you can't do this and have a productive conversation. That's not the way musicians work in the actual professional sphere, if you ever want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. What are you up to today?
I'm gonna make chili.
Oh,
So that was
like
pretty.
what kind of chili do you make? Like chicken chili or
No, this is beef. This is
beef?
beef. This is
Beef?
Texas chili.
Texas
So
chili? What's the difference? What's
it
like
doesn't have beans. It's stewed meat basically. So stewed
just
meat
meat?
with some vegetables to kind of season it. So I'm going to put some onion, a green pepper, red bell pepper, all diced up, probably pretty fine, because it's going to slow cook for like 8 hours or something. And
Okay.
so
But
that along
no
with the
beef? No beans?
no beans.
You don't like beans or it's just a
I
recipe that doesn't call for
actually
beans?
I had a traumatic experience when I was 5 with beans, and I
Oh, okay.
really
So you don't like beans?
I'll eat them occasionally, but I don't usually do that.
Okay.
And if I'm going to have chili, it's not chili with the beans. I'm going to have just and that's the Texas thing. You know, it's stewed meat,
Nice. I didn't
right?
know that there was such thing
Yeah,
as Texas chili. I have to
and
look it
there's
up.
I'm not going to concoct my own spices to put into it. There's this is sort of nostalgic for me. Back when I was a kid, my friend was a real admirer of cars, stock cars, and everything. And Carroll Shelby was his idol. And Carroll Shelby, there's a Ford GT Cobra like sports car that's legendary, and Carroll Shelby invented the engine or the modification. I don't know. Anyway, that's a long backstory to the fact that he was also a champion chili chef in Texas,
Yeah.
and so he marketed it was like Carroll Shelby's original Texas chili seasonings, and you can probably find it in I just found it in King Supers here, and it's been around for 30 years. So it's just it's a big spice packet of chili powder and some other special stuff. There's
Nice.
some
Nice.
cayenne if you want to throw that in, and then there's corn masa flour
Wow.
which you make into a paste and you throw in, and that thickens it up and makes it a very thick, robust thing. So it's basically 2 pounds of diced stew meat,
Nice.
um, a can of chopped tomatoes or petite diced tomatoes, a can of tomato sauce, some water in there, and all the vegetables and the seasoning stuff mixed together in the crock pot, and it's just going to go for 8 hours. Could go longer,
Yeah.
and go until the meat is just falling apart,
Oh wow.
and the vegetables have
So it's a
disintegrated.
ragu. It's almost like a ragu, like a
Yeah, yeah, a lot
beef
like that.
stew. Yeah. Like a
Yeah,
ragu.
yeah. It would be the like if you think of what's the bolognese.
What? Bolognese?
Pasta bolognese, or however you say it. I'd say
What? Spaghetti
bolognese.
bolognese?
Bolognese.
Like the bolognese? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that's basically kind of the same thing as chili, right? It's.
And do you eat just like that, or you eat it over rice or
I'm going to eat
potatoes
it
or
over rice. You can. Some people will eat it over beans. So we'll spoon it
over?
over some beans. Uh, um, what else can you do with it? You can top it with anything as well. So I'll probably top it with
Nice.
like cheddar cheese, maybe diced onion. I don't know, and maybe well probably green onion for sure. So
Oh
it's
yeah, I like green onions or yeah, cilantro.
yeah, you can put some
Like
cilantro
cilantro,
on there. Use some sour cream
sour
if you
cream.
really care about your insides. Maybe you use some Tabasco to kick it up a couple of notches, depending on how hot you made it. So
Well,
yeah,
that's gonna be nice dinner tonight. Yeah,
it's going to be dinner for
that's
the
gonna be
next
nice dinner for you.
probably for the next 4 days, right? Because I
You're not gonna be bored.
what's that?
You're not going to be bored having the
Not
same
with
thing.
Texas chili. No, it's hard to be
Oh,
bored with Texas
okay.
chili. All right. Well, we actually we
Yeah,
we deep it. This is a wide. It was a far-ranging conversation. Everything from making your peace with a country, and making your peace with the situation,
yeah,
um, to death, long
yeah,
card, death and chili cooking.
yeah.
So it's kind of a trifecta.
Okay.
Anyway, everybody, thank you for joining us. And
Thank
we will
you.
see
Have
you
a
very
wonderful
soon.
weekend, and we'll see you on Monday.
All right. Yeah. So that's my project today.
That's fun. Do you mind looking? I think this is a half hour, half time, to see how Morocco is doing.
Okay. So just like, I'll just go to Yahoo or something like that. No, probably not Yahoo. World Cup stats.
FIFA, yeah, FIFA World Cup.
I was gonna say you're the soccer mom, right?
I am.
And you're going to see the soccer. Let's see. Okay,
Yeah.
World Cup statistics. I don't know if the Wikipedia's. Let's say Fox Sports. How about Yahoo Sports? I'm sure if I went on Facebook, I might see something.
Yeah. If you
Let's see.
work
Yeah.
FIFA, yeah. Fox News, Fox Sports.
Oh, let's say I'm at Yahoo right now. So, no soccer record is safe from Kylian Mbappe, just 23 years old.
Kylian.
Okay.
Kylian Mbappe is a French one. What do they say
Kylian.
about him?
Okay, let's see.
Kylian Mbappe is my French star.
He's an off-the-planet player. He wants to beat
He
all the
is.
records.
Yeah.
So he's the Pele of this generation, but he's from France.
Yeah. Somebody said to me
23.
that Pele was sick. Is it you?
No, I didn't, but I did see something about that.
That he's in palliative care, but he's old, so.
Yeah, but he's okay now. He survived that.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, it's interesting through human history how often respiratory disease is what finally brings you down.
Yeah.
Even like Mozart and Haydn, Beethoven.
Yeah.
They all caught essentially a nasty cold or flu or something, and they couldn't recover from it, and then boom, they're gone. Of course, I think it didn't help with a lot of them that they were fairly indulgent in terms of their tastes.
And they were smokers too, right?
Probably. I don't recall ever hearing anything about Beethoven or Mozart being a smoker, but it was popular in Europe. So, but a lot of drinking for sure. A lot of drinking and
epicureanism, like we say.
Epicureanism, exactly. Yeah. Beethoven, he just like cirrhosis of the, it wasn't just the respiratory bug. He had cirrhosis and.
But he was very indulgent in everything. So.
Yeah, very.
And he wanted. I watched a movie on him. Like he just to the extremes. He just wanted to. His life was a life of extremes too, right?
Yeah, in a lot of ways. Yeah, and of course, he had this. He's very angry because of the deafness. I think that
because of what you said.
Because of his deafness.
His deafness.
His deafness.
Oh yeah, okay. Yes.
Yeah, because that. I think it's like if you're the most promising, well, the most promising musician in Europe.
Generation.
And then all of a sudden, you start to notice that you're losing your hearing.
Yeah, it ruins you.
Fortunately for Beethoven, it allowed a lot of the compositions. He wouldn't have composed some of the things he did if
he was,
But so, and this was, it's not like what people sometimes think that it was. Some people think, and I thought this when I first heard it, he was born deaf. He wasn't born deaf. And in fact, his hearing loss was very gradual over the period of like 20 years.
Yeah.
And so that was plenty of time to be frustrated with the situation, to be frustrated with how, first of all, you can't hear conversations very well. And then second of all, you're having a hard time, directing an orchestra, and you're having a hard time hearing the sound of your piano eventually, except for certain you know, it's just yeah. And then sort of he was kind of an asshole too. So he you know that
And the
his
womanizer.
I
I think what I remember from his story, he was
I
a little
mean
womanizer, wasn't he?
that's not what I mean, not as much as some other composers probably.
Mm.
But anyway, he when his brother died, his brother said in his last will and testament, under no circumstances do I want Ludwig, my brother, to have custody of my son.
Oh.
Under no circumstances, absolutely not. And Beethoven is a very powerful person. He has connections in the community and so on. He's a celebrity. He pursued custody of his nephew anyway.
Yeah, I did.
And that caused his nephew so much
Mm-hmm.
pain and heartache
Mm-hmm.
that his nephew attempted suicide.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you never told me the game. I am where I
Let's
arrived.
see.
And I arrived, so but it's okay.
Let's see.
I can look.
I'm
I
not.
can look.
So World Cup update. How about that? World Cup update 2022. World Cup live scores updates. Morocco, Portugal. Oh, all right.